Devyani International's IPO is finally here, but you've probably not heard of this company. But you have heard about the brands that it runs in the country. That's KFC, Pizza Hut, and Costa Coffee. These brands are actually owned by Yum Brands worldwide, and Devyani International owns the franchisee for it in the country. Now, recently, we just did a video on how to analyze your own IPO, and you should check that video out. We'll be following the same format in this video, so let's get started. The promoter is none other than Ravikant Jaipuria. You probably don't know him, but he runs Varun Beverages, which is a monopolistic business which does bottling for PepsiCo. As you know, Varun Beverages is a listed company which has created fantastic shareholder value, and it's done pretty well. This guy, this promoter, is known for his dynamic management skills, and he seems to know how to run his shop. So let's understand the business model of Devyani International. All right, so let's talk about the company. The company has about 655 stores in about 155 cities. So we know that it already has decent distribution and presence in the country. So let's understand the business. That's right here. You have the core, which is where most of the money comes from. You have international and other. In core, you have KFC, Pizza Hut, and Costa Coffee. This is where most of the revenue comes from, and these are Indian operations. Then you have international, which is mostly Nepal and some other neighboring countries. And in other, they actually own some brands themselves, which are in different segments within QSR, which is quick service restaurants. That's Vango and Food Street. Now, for core and international, if you combine them, just these two are about 94%. All right. And the other obviously accounts for about 6%. And like I always say, it's a good thing if a major part of the core revenue is coming from core operations, which is from here. So if you start seeing them to make a lot of money from this and this isn't growing, that's generally not a good sign. In this case, that's not happening. So this is positive. It's also important to know that this also makes them the largest quick service restaurant listed on Swiggy and Zomato. And we know and we think that Swiggy and Zomato is only going to increase in terms of number of orders and penetration as India moves forward. So now let's talk about the key features about the company. So the key features about this company is that it's a highly recognized global brand. So I think everyone who's visited the world and probably never visited India knows about these brands because they're recognized globally. This is always a good thing because brand as a moat, even by Warren Buffett's standards, is a good thing because it's something that's very tough to replicate. The second thing is that it's already present in key consumption markets. So the theory here goes that if you actually opened up all the consumption areas across the country, mapping it on a map, then these brands are already present in those maps, which means availability of these brands is already there where consumption trends are moving up. And finally, we know that COVID changed everything. And just like a lot of other businesses, they were able to restructure their business to focus more on online sales, delivery, etc. So we know that the management was able to adapt and navigate through a major change. So let's talk about the industry. Now, you need to understand as an investor that even within food, there are different segments. And one segment is QSR, which is quick service restaurant, which is not a full service restaurant which has a waiter waiting on you. You can order on your plate. It costs a lot of money. That's a different format, and it's unlikely to be scalable. If you look at quick service, it's a fixed menu, fixed items, and it's served very quickly. Now, Devyani is only in the quick service segment. Now, in 2020, QSR as a segment was the largest contribution to the food service industry. So that's a good thing. And its share sale was about 34%, which was followed by the pub, club, and bar and full service restaurant formats. And then you have the entire industry growth. So we can see here that is expected to grow to about $219 billion in 2025, registering about 15.5% growth from 2020 to 2025. And one of the drivers of why quick service restaurants are doing so well is possibly urbanization and increasing exposure to the youth, right? We know that younger people would prefer this and like it. And we also know that India is one of the largest, youngest populations in the world. Now let's talk about the financials. I'll be honest and set the tone here. Financials utne kuch khas nahi hai. It's not amazing stellar growth, but let's understand this. So if you look at the sales growth from 1920, it's about 15%. And from 2021, it's actually minus 24%. Any guesses why that happened? It's probably because of COVID and they had to navigate. But the sales growth has decreased over the last 1 year. You can also see that the company is actually continuously incurring losses. From 19 to 20, the losses increased by 29%, and 20 to 21, losses decreased by 49%. Now, in this case, we can see that the losses are decreasing in the last immediate year, but there are losses nevertheless. I think the way you should see this as an investor, apart from brand, you also need growth in sales and profitability and margin increasing. I just don't see that over here at the moment. I'd love to understand your thoughts in the comments below. We can also see that all of this has resulted in a negative EPS for shareholders. Remember, earnings per share is a way for you to know if you are earning something from the profits that the company is making on a per share basis. And we can also see that this returned a negative net worth of 48% for the year March 31, 2021. And then you have some key performance indicators over here. Let's understand that a bit. The same store growth isn't much for all the three stores. In fact, Pizza Hut and Costa Coffee have been negative from 2020 to 2021. So sometimes what businesses do is that they're making profit on a store level, but they're reinvesting money on a business level to grow, hence losses. So we said, okay, maybe the business is making losses, but maybe the store is showing massive growth, but we can see that it's actually negative for Pizza Hut and Costa Coffee. We can even see that KFC is probably performing better, and revenue for Pizza Hut and Costa Coffee is actually decreased year on year. Another interesting thing to note is that although the gross margins in a store is as high as 65%, they're actually incurring a heavy operational expense. And this results in the loss. So it means that the gross margin is really high, but the running costs, the fixed costs are so high that they're not able to actually turn a profit. So you need to think as an investor, can they bring down the operational cost? Now let's look at the peer comparison. This is fun because it's a great way to know how this company is doing against its competition. So its competition is what? Jubilant FoodWorks, which is Domino's, Westlife Development, not the band, but McDonald's. And then Burger King is also a competitor. Now, in terms of EPS, we can see that Jubilant is the only player which has positive EPS. So kudos to that. I think they understand how operations work. Burger King, Westlife, both. So Burger King and Westlife, both, which is McDonald's, both have negative EPS, actually worse than Devyani International. Then finally, in terms of returns on net worth, Jubilant is actually positive returns, 24.95%. And we can see that Devyani is actually the worst over here. And finally, you have the net asset value. This is basically to find out the total assets versus one share. And its formula is pretty simple. You take the total assets minus the liabilities and divide that total with the total outstanding shares. Now, Jubilant's number is actually decent and is the highest in the industry, but Devyani is the lowest with just ₹1. Now, in my opinion, after looking at all of these things, Jubilant FoodWorks is clearly the leader and Devyani is not even close. Now let's understand the objects of the offer. And this is to find out when a company does an IPO and raises money, what's the objective? Where is the money being used? Now, this is a fresh issue of 400 crores and it's also doing a offer for sale of about 1,000 crores. It can be slightly different by the time the listing happens, but it's about 1,000 crores. Now for the fresh issue, 400 crores, that major chunk is going towards repayment of borrowings of 358 crores. And the rest is for general corporate purposes. Now, in my opinion, the best companies raising money are raising money not only to repay loans, but also for geographical or business expansion. In this case, it doesn't seem like that's happening. But there's one glimmer of hope. Raising so much money and paying back debt will give you a good debt to equity ratio. Now let's talk about the risk factors of the business. The first one is the ongoing pandemic. Now, we know that the business was able to navigate through the pandemic, but was it really able to turn a better profit? Obviously not. We saw that the sales decreased. But apart from that, some stores actually permanently shut down, which means that there was a capex loss. The second is that it's a heavily standardized business because it's a franchisee. If you don't follow some of the rules and there is some tiff between the parent brand and Devyani, then that could affect all the stores. One example is McDonald's, where they actually had a problem with McDonald's International versus the franchisee version in India. And for a period of time, a lot of McDonald's stores were shut down. And then we have high competition in the QSR space. I've already mentioned we have McDonald's, Jubilant FoodWorks, etc., even Burger King for that matter. And if the losses continue for Devyani, I mean, how will they compete against all the other competitive brands? The second last risk factor over here is that there are outstanding litigations against the company. And this is between the government on tax and other things as well. So it's possible that a verdict that comes out that was not expected, there could be a higher payout than what was expected in the books, and that could cause a further loss. This is obviously a risk factor. And the final risk factor is actually geopolitical. As we learned on the board there is an international business in Nepal and Nigeria. If there's any problem between these countries and India, and the business cannot function, and for some reason running these businesses in these two countries is an issue, then a portion of the revenue can actually take a hit, which is about 10%. So now we've understood this business starting from its core competency all the way to financials. What's the summary? Very simply, it has weak financials. It's not impressive. The management seems to be strong, though. That's a positive. You also have the repayment of debt that we spoke about. So the financial position is going to improve. Now, the final thing is, how will the Indian consumption story play out over the next 10 years? Is it that maybe this losses that this company is facing is temporary, but in the future, the QSR brand is able to grow. It's able to grow its own brands maybe and get better penetration throughout India's population, which is massive. If you think that's possible and they can be a market leader, then that would be an interesting play for you. But if you think they're not a market leader, this is probably a skip. I hope you learned a lot in this video in just a few minutes, but imagine if you spent more hours with us, right from beginner all the way to advanced, so you can understand how investing and trading works. I would urge you to check out learnout.com, where we have everything for beginners all the way to advanced ways to actually invest in the market. Do check that out. And if you've taken a few courses or liked a few courses, put it in the comment below. Now, if you like our YouTube, we've been working really hard to grow it. So check these videos out. I'm sure you love them too. And if you have any questions, put it in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.